If you've watched this channel before, give yourself a pat on the back. In the last month, we've raised over $400 in ad revenue for this channel, which I am going to donate to the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention. There was a vote on one of my recent videos on which charity to contribute to this month, and the overwhelming vote was for mental health. So I chose this charity based on the recent uptick in suicides and the increase in completion of suicide or lethality of suicide attempts. I did vet this charity before donating, and I looked at their financials. They seem to be a pretty well-run charity. About 85% of their revenue goes to their programs and services. About 5% goes to administrative fees, which is very good. And about 10% goes to fundraising. It's a nonprofit organization, and they focus on policy, education, prevention, and support for family members of victims of suicide. I'll post a link to their website. So if after watching this video you want to do some more research about the organization or donate, you can. So this is the second in the monthly video series called Compassionate Action. And I wanted to briefly address one aspect of realization that is often overlooked because we are usually focused a lot more on insight and our own personal experience. But the outward manifestation of realization ultimately is compassion, is unconditional love. We fight this for a long time, whether we know it or not. We sense the power of unconditional love, and we also sense that we can't actually control or direct it. It's not about us. It's about something that's fully beyond us. And thus it will, over time, transmute our greed, self-centeredness, ignorance, hatred, intolerance, to compassionate action, to a spontaneous outflow of love. As Adyashanti has said, at some point, the only thing that makes sense anymore is to become a benevolent presence in the world. Only you can't decide what that's going to look like, and that can be very challenging to accept as realization deepens. Unconditional love is supremely powerful. In one sense, you could say the only thing left is unconditional love. It's what makes experience possible at all. It's what makes appearance possible. So unconditional love is not affected by the local conditions. It's not concerned whether you're comfortable or uncomfortable. It's not concerned with whether you're asleep or awake. It's not concerned whether things are going the way you expected them or not. It's not concerned with your agendas. And yet, when you are able to surrender to it, it's the most thoroughly satisfying and enjoyable experience available to a human being. It's both an ideal that we will almost certainly never perfect in this lifetime, and simultaneously a full-on surrender in this moment that feels right at the deepest level. So we don't have to concern ourselves so much with the degree of selfless activity or the big picture. Rather, we have to be willing to find the beloved in this moment. And the beloved has many faces, has many shapes and orientations. In fact, it has infinite shapes and orientations. It's both empty and full. It's there when you're comfortable, and it's there when you're uncomfortable. It's there when you're in fear, and it's there when you're in sadness, and it's there when you're in joy. And it's there when you're disoriented. The beloved is the sound of a passing automobile. The beloved is one footstep. The beloved is tension in the body. The beloved is the sum total of all experiences right now, all sounds, all bodily sensations. You don't have to go out to the beloved. You don't have to find it. You don't have to integrate it. It's already with you. It's been with you the whole time. You just have to open your heart and recognize it. Accept it in. If you're oriented in a devotional way, That means realizing that you're staring into the face of God at every moment. If you're oriented in a devotional way, that means realizing that you're staring into the face of God in every moment. It's not something you're going to find. The communion is already complete. Feel it, see it, hear it, surrender to it. Again and again and again. Sit and be empty. Horizontalize the mast of the ego, including the spiritual ego. Forget everything you've learned. Forget everything you've ever watched. Forget everything you've ever read. And let the reality of what is here right now wake you up again and again and again. This is how you fall in love with what's right in front of your face, what's right under your foot, every single moment.